Hello, dear students. Today, in this video lesson, we will learn about other modes of nutrition in plants. So, some plants which do not have chlorophyll, they cannot synthesize their food. As we know, chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. So, without that, no plant can synthesize their food. So, such plants depend on food produced by other plants. They use heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Do you see yellow tubular structure twining around the stem and branches of a tree? This is a plant called Cuscuta, which is called as Amarvale. It does not have chlorophyll. It takes ready-made food from the plants on which it is climbing. So basically, the on plants to which it is wrapping itself, that is host plant. So host is an organism which nourishes another organism inside or near their body. So this is the image of Cuscuta, which is called as Amarbale. It is wrapping itself on host plant to get the nutrients. Next one is parasite. Organisms that live on the body of other organism for their food are called parasite. Organism which is directly dependent upon another organism for its nutrient. So these are the definition of parasites. Whether they take nutrition from other plant body for their development and growth. Parasites are of two kinds. First one is partial parasites and second one is total parasite. So partial parasites, they are partially dependent on host plant for their food. They obtain some of the nutrient from the host, for example, painted cup and biscum. Other one is total parasite. They are fully dependent for their food and nourishment to the host plant. They depend completely on the host for nutrition. For example, Cuscuta, as I've shown you, the Cuscuta image, that is, this is the Cuscuta. It is dependent for food on host plant. So next one we have, this is the viscum on host plant. It is growing on the branches of trees for mainly for the water and minerals. Also it has green color, so it can synthesize. So this is partial parasite. In total parasite, they dependent for both food and minerals and water on host plant. So next one is insectivorous plants. So some plants they also take food in the form of insect. They absorb the essential nutrient from the animal body to get their body growth. So green plants which take nourishment partly from the soil and atmosphere and partly from small insect. So they take some of the nutrients from soil and atmosphere and some of the nutrients from small insects like flies, like grasshoppers. So they can take their nutrients from these insects. For example, pitcher plant, bladderwort, and Venus flytrap. So this is the image of Venus flytrap. This is Dionaea muscipula. This is the scientific name, botanical name of this Venus flytrap plant, which is feeding on fly. As you can see, it is trapping the fly inside its, and it will absorb later the nutrients from the body of fly. Next is bladderwort plant. This is called as Utricularia. This is the scientific name of bladderwort. So this is the picture, Nepenthes plant. So a lizard is trapped in a pitcher plant, as you can see. So after some time, it will die inside that pitcher trap, and within few days, it will get digested by the gastric enzymes or the enzymes present in the pitcher plant. So next one is saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Saprotrophic nutrition. The mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients in solution form from dead and decaying matter is called saprotrophic nutrition. So saprotrophs are the organism which feeds on dead decaying materials are called as saprotrophs. For example, fungi or fungi. They have a saprotrophic mode of nutrition. They secrete digestive juice on the dead and decaying matter and convert it into a solution. Then they absorb the nutrient from it. So this is the process how these fungi they take the nutrients from the dead decaying material. So activity 1 here, take a piece of bread and moisten it with water. You can do this activity at your home because if bread or something is available at your home, so you can do with this. So take a piece of bread and moisten it with water. Leave it in a moist, warm place for 2 to 3 days or until fluffy patches appear on them. These patches may be white, green, brown, or of any other color. Observe the patches under a microscope or a magnifying glass. You will observe something is there. So this is the mushroom as you can as you have seen earlier at your home or in markets area. So these are the mushroom we eat. So these are the mushroom growing on dead decaying material. This is the image of fungus on fruit surface. There is a black color, grayish color fungus is appearing on the surface of fruit. This is the fungus on bread surface, black in color. This is black mold, black fungus. You can see. These are the appearances when you see this fungus under the microscope or by the help of magnifying glass. So cotton-like thread appearance of fungus under magnifying glass. Next one is symbiotic association. So some organisms live together and share shelter and nutrients. This is called symbiotic relationship. Basically, they are dependent on each other for their daily needs or for their living. So symbiosis is interdependency on each other. So that is symbiotic association. In case of plants, there is a, for example, lichen. In case of lichen, chlorophyll containing partner, which is alga and fungus, live together. The fungus provides shelter, water, and minerals to the alga, and in return, the alga provides food, which is prepared by photosynthesis. So they are interdependent on each other. As you can see, these lichens in surrounding areas on surfaces of rocks, on tree trunks, or decaying plant parts like branches. You can see these on them. So some fungi live in the roots of tree. The tree provides nutrients to the fungus and in return receives help from it to take up water and nutrients from the soil. So this is the image of lichen on tree trunk. You can see the image right here. So this is the lichen living on symbiotic association with in lichens there are alga and fungi. They are living in symbiotic association with each other and they are dependent on each other. So this is the lichen on tree trunk. Next, this is also a lichen on tree trunk. You can see how nutrients are absorbed in the soil. So plants absorb, next topic is how nutrients are reabsorbed in the soil. So plants absorb minerals, nutrients from the soil, so their amounts in the soil keep on declining. So after some time when there is a crop production is happening, so these nutrients, so macro or micronutrients which are present in the soil are declined after the crop grown. So fertilizer and manures contain plant nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. So these nutrients need to be added from time to time to enrich the soil. We can grow plants and keep them healthy if we can fulfill the nutrient requirement of plants. If we cannot fulfill the nutrient requirement, they will not show good or proper growth. They will show stunted growth, leaf will not grow properly, flowering will not come on right time, so they will not give us good crop. So to fight with that, we need to give them essential nutrient to the plants. So usually crop requires a lot of nitrogen to make proteins after the harvest. The soil becomes deficient in nitrogen. They need nitrogen in a soluble form. The bacterium called rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a soluble form. Rhizobium cannot make its own food, so it lives in the roots of gram, peas, moong, beans, and other legumes and provide them with nitrogen. So here rhizobium is living like in a symbiotic association with these plants. For example, gram, peas, moongs, beans, and they fix this atmospheric nitrogen in a liquid form, so it can be provided to these plants. So this is the diagram here, nitrogen fixation in leguminous plants. As you can see, in the leguminous plant there are root nodules present. So in those nodules this rhizobium is present, this bacteria is present. So this is the nitrifying bacteria. It converts atmospheric nitrogen and it gives to the these leguminous plants. So nitrogen this compounds is taken from air and it is converted into simpler forms and is given to the plants. And in the back of these photosynthesis, by the help of photosynthesis, plant produces products which is required to growth of this bacteria. Next one, we have most of the pulses are obtained from leguminous plants. In return, the plants provide food in shelter to the bacteria. So you can see nodules in the plants like pea mainly, soybean. You can see the nodules properly in these plants. So this is a symbiotic relationship. This association is very important for the farmers. They do not need to add nitrogen fertilizers to the soil in which leguminous plants are grown, because leguminous plants contains a bacterium called as rhizobium. So it naturally fixes the atmospheric nitrogen into soluble form to the soil. So farmers not need to put any nitrogen as a fertilizer to the soil. So this is the pea plant with the root nodule. You can see the root nodule over here. So in these roots here are, you can see the tiny circular structure. So these are the root nodules which are present in pea plant. So I hope you will learn from this lesson a lot more things about other modes of nutrition, how plant do require, how plant take their nutrition from other modes. So that will help them to regrow with a proper way. So I hope you will learn from this lesson about the other modes of nutrition in plant. Thank you.